everybody. I'm Mrs. Knippa, and I'm the counselor at Thunderbird Elementary. We are so glad to have you today. Welcome to our Virtual Career Day 2021.
Hi, I'm Miss Marchman, and I am the counselor at La Mesa Elementary.
Hello, I'm Mary Newton, and I am the counselor at College Hill Elementary School.
For me, it has been to be that guy that does what people say can't be done, you know? And I think it started with trying to please my mother and trying to please my grandmother, and they always wanted higher for me. They always wanted more for me. And it got to the point that I wanted to be something. I wanted to be somebody. And it made me choose certain roles. It made me turn down certain roles. There is more than an image that I want to project. I want to be the person that is the first person there and the last person to leave. That's who I want to be, because I think that the road to success is through commitment and through the strength to drive through that commitment when it gets hard. And it is going to get hard, and you're going to want to quit sometimes, but it'll be colored by who you are and more who you want to be. I definitely found that wanting to be an actor stems from wanting to be somebody.
My mom wanted me to be a truck driver because that would mean I'd make $24,000 a year if I went to Truck Masters. And that would be twice what my father made. And she thought that would happen, but something inside of me said, I don't want to drive a truck. There's something else that matters more to me. And I decided I was not gonna go for money instead of passion. And the rewards have been pretty amazingly better than being a truck driver. It's not bad being a truck driver, it's just not what I was after. And I look back, and one of the things that helped me was my original teacher, Jim Rohn, who was a personal development speaker I went to hear when I was 17. He said something the first time I heard him, and he said, you know, it's really simple. If you want life to change, you got to change. If you want life to be better, you've got to get better. It's the only way it happens. And luck will show up for people and it'll leave them. But if you're constantly improving who you are and what you give, game over.
See if you can find some ways to multiply your value to the marketplace. And he said your income will immediately start to change.
See, if you go through life holding back, and most of us do, most of us, if we ask ourselves, have we done all we can do? Most of us will have to answer, no, we haven't. We've been holding back. We have ideas that we don't act on, things we want to do. We're afraid to take chances. We go through life trying to seek security and not coming outside of our comfort zone, and we take most of our stuff with us to the grave.
Up until then, I was hoping that the economy would change. I was hoping that my company would change. I was hoping that my paycheck would change. I was hoping that circumstances outside would change. And then here's what I found out. It isn't going to change. So then my question was, if it isn't going to change, how will my life ever change? And here's what my teacher taught me. When you change, everything will change for you.
And I'm saying that the fact that you're still here, that you're still breathing, you've got some more work, and you owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself. So when you get up in the morning, that you can look yourself in the face and say, hey, I'm living my life on my terms.
Change your question, change your life. When it comes to planning your life, I want to get you to learn to ask 3 questions now. The question you want to ask yourself is, what do I want? What's my outcome? What's my result? The word RPM, the first one, is to get you focused on the target. The target is not the activity. The activity can change. It's what's the result I'm after. If you know exactly what it is you really want, what you desire, what you're really after, clarity is power. The more clear you are and specifically what you want, the faster your brain can get you there. But if you're generally saying things like, what do I want? Well, I want more money. Fine, here's $1, get out of here. Whether you get the outcome or not, whether you get that result, will be based first, do you have clarity? And the second thing is, whether you got enough emotional juice to keep going after it when things don't work out. Did you achieve the outcome? Yeah, when you're that general, you think you're not getting your goal, you are. The way you language your goal, the way you think about it, you're receiving it. I want to feel a bit better. I want to lose some weight. Fine, you lost a pound, you're done.
When you get better, everything will get better for you. And that's where I picked up that phrase, for things to change, you've got to change. You don't have to change the marketplace. You don't have to change the marketing plan. You don't have to change the economy. You don't have to change countries. You don't have to change circumstances out there. All you've got to do is look within and see if you can change yourself for the better. And as you change, things will start to change for you.
What's the result I'm after? What's the ultimate result? What do I want out of this week, out of this thing, out of my business, out of my life, for my body?
Don't concern yourself too much with how you're going to achieve your goal. Leave that completely to a power greater than yourself. All you have to do is know where you're going. The answers will come to you of their own accord.
Here's my best advice. Welcome all experiences. You never know which one is going to turn everything on.
Are there going to be some moments when you want to give up? Yes. Will there be some moments when it's going to seem like it's impossible? The pain that you're experiencing, the disappointment that you're experiencing, that you're going to say, it's not worth it? Yes, that's going to be right there for you. It's going to be in your face, telling you to go back.
When we think about changing our lives, usually that means changing your behaviors, retraining yourself, getting new habits, going out and trying them out and changing your life. This is about changing your thoughts, and then your life will change. Change your thoughts, change your life.
Benjamin Disraeli said, nothing can resist a human will that will stake its existence on its purpose. Shortly put, I'll do it or die.
Know that all you have to do is hold your goal before you. Everything else will take care of itself.
And I can tell you that it doesn't make any difference what age you are, whether you're a teenager watching this, or whether you're someone in your 60s, 70s, 80s, or anywhere along the way, you can make that change.
Every thought, every feeling, every emotion you experience in this lifetime is shaped by beliefs and values. All of your life is controlled by decisions you make. Decisions about what to believe, decisions about what to feel, decisions about what to do. And most of us are on automatic pilot, letting the world trigger us instead of taking back control of our life. And when you do that, just think of it this way. Anything you want to change. You want to change your body. You want to change your career, your business, your relationship. What to do requires the right strategy. If you want to lose weight and keep it off, you can't obviously just throw your pendulum and go on some silly diet. You got to know the things that are going to give you lasting results. So we teach those strategies. But some people even know what to do, but they don't do it. And why are we able to get people to do it, to follow through? Because 80% of success in anything, my friends, is psychology, and 20% is the mechanics. What that means is there's how to do stuff and there's why to do stuff. How to do it is not that complex. And if you really learn from somebody who knows those refined distinctions, they can show you those tipping points, those things you can do where in the least amount of time you get the biggest result.
As you look at yourself as a business operator, as you look at yourself as an entrepreneur, as you look at yourself as a person that want to make a mark with your life, that want to leave a legacy, you've got to be hungry. It's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. You want to find people who master that, because success leaves clues. And that's the same thing I'm suggesting to you. Whatever area that you want to go in it's finances, in business, insurance industry, whatever area that you're interested in, find the people who are mastering that and follow their example. Watch your relationships. They're nourishing relationships and they're toxic relationships. Nourishing relationships, they bring the best out of you. They inspire you toxic relationships, they drain you. People that are hungry are willing to do the things today others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. People that are hungry believe, always strive to get on top in life because it's the bottom that's overcrowded. People that are hungry know if you want to be successful, you must be willing to do the things today others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. Complain, point at your circumstances, give up your power, blame the government, blame the economy. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, your life will be easy. It's hard to make a radical change in your behavior. It's hard to take ownership. It's hard to swallow the bitter pill that wherever you find yourself, at some point in time, you made an appointment to be there. That's hard. It's hard. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. If you do what is hard, your life will be easy.
And I'm a respiratory therapist at BSA Hospital in Amarillo. My aunt, Miss Marchman, asked me if I could talk to y'all today, and I'm so excited to be a part of y'all's career fair. That's so exciting. So just to start off, for school, I went through a 2-year program, and that included in-class classes and some labs where we would practice setting up breathing treatments and practice seeing patients so that we would be ready for when we saw our real patients in the hospitals. And then that also included many, many hours of clinical hours, which just means that we would go into the hospital and we would go with someone that was already working there as a respiratory therapist, and they would watch us and they would make sure that we're being good to our patients and treating them correctly and making sure we're doing everything we need to be doing. So they would watch us super closely, and we spent a lot of hours doing that. I went to the program at Amarillo College in Amarillo, but I know there's one in Lubbock too. There's different programs all over the place. The part of my job that I enjoy the most, I would say I enjoy being able to be there for my patients during the hard times that they're going through, because a lot of times when our patients come into the hospital, they're very sick and it's just a hard time for them. So I love being able to hold their hand with them and get them through those times, and to also be there for their families and be able to answer any questions and to comfort them. And I just love being there for my patients. Salary, I would say typical salary kind of varies depending on like how long you've been a therapist. If you're new, you don't get paid quite as much as someone that's been working like 20 years or something like that. It also depends on different specialties that you can have. So you could have a specialty called ACCS, and that stands for Adult Critical Care Specialty. And so you would also get paid more for that because you would be able to work in ICU with our more critical patients. Another one you could have is your NPS, and that means your neonatal pediatric specialty, and that means that you're able to work with newborn babies and with little kids and all the way up to 18 years old. And so for those, you would get paid a little bit more. If you've been working longer, you would get paid more. But I would say about hourly, about $22 to $27 an hour, depending on where you are and what you're doing exactly. So a typical day for me, whenever I come in, I get a list of the patients that I'm going to see for the day. If you're working in ICU, you have less patients to see per day. You might only have 5 patients because those patients are really sick usually and they're gonna need a lot more of your time, so you have less patients. If you're gonna work on a general floor, you might have quite a few more patients. You might have around 30 patients you're gonna see throughout the day. But you get your list of patients and I will go talk to the therapist that took care of my patients during the previous shift. And they'll tell me about the patient, they'll tell me why they're here, they'll tell me any respiratory treatments that they're getting, anything that I really need to know to be able to take care of my patients well, they'll tell me those things. Anything that just sticks out that they need to let me know before I'm responsible for them. And then I will start my rounds. I will go see my patients. So we see patients on the floor usually for different things. They can have breathing treatments. It might just be an oxygen check where we go in and check their oxygen and make sure it's good and that they don't need any extra oxygen on. They could have, maybe if they have sleep apnea, they'll have a monitor on, so we'll watch the monitor, make sure everything's good. And we also answer pages on a pager, so if the patient's nurse feels like they need respiratory to come in and assess them, they'll page us and we answer those pages almost immediately. We get there pretty fast. If you're in ICU, you might be doing things like checking on ventilators. So if your patient's on a ventilator and they need something to help breathe for them, they might be on a ventilator. They might be on a high flow nasal cannula, so they might be on a cannula getting lots of oxygen, anything like that. We check on them and we chart everything we do on a computer. So you would chart what their oxygen was, what their heart rate was, what their lungs sounded like, all kinds of things. And then we would usually take a little break and then go see our patients again. So we're consistently checking on them throughout the day, making sure they're okay, answering our pages. We also have a code team, so I'm usually on that team. So if somebody is needing help respiratory route-wise, we get there really quickly and take care of that. And then before we leave for the day, we'll give report on our patients to the next person coming on so that they can take care of them. But yeah, we do a lot of different things and I really enjoy my job. So I hope that y'all found something exciting about it too. I hope y'all have a great day. Thank you.
Welcome to the Plainview ISD Elementary Virtual Career Fair. Today I have, will you please tell me your name and your position?
Yes, my name is Wendy Cooper and I am a registered dental hygienist.
Okay. What education or training was required for your job?
I did have to get prerequisites, so I attended South Plains College and got all of those before I started at Amarillo College. But you do have to have GPA requirements. I can't remember exactly what the range is, but they want high scores. I know that they usually accept about 30 students per semester to start the program. There's a lot more that apply, so you definitely need your GPA to be high to get in. And then it's a 2-year college, or two-year course at Amarillo College. I know there are some where you can get your bachelor's. Mine is an associate's degree for the 2-year. There are some that offer the 4-year to where you can get your bachelor's, but Amarillo College does not offer that. But you can get your bachelor's, and that way you can go on to teach dental hygiene if that is an interest for you.
What do you enjoy most about your job?
I enjoy helping people. So you don't know anything until you're taught. So a lot of patients don't know that gingivitis is very, very prevalent. 70 to 90% of people in the world have it and don't even know they have it because it doesn't hurt. So just educating patients and teaching them how to better care for their teeth, because we know that when you better care for your teeth, you're helping your health as well. So just helping patients.
Okay. And so what does a typical work day look like for you? Like what time do you start? When do you finish?
So I come to work at about 7:40, get my room ready for my first patient, just review charts, review notes, review x-rays, and then just make sure that we have enough instruments ready and clean for a day's worth of patients.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add about your job as dental hygienist?
No, I think that's about it.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Just make sure you brush and floss.
Hey guys, my name is Lindsay Mathis and I'm an optometrist here in Plainview, and I was asked to tell a little bit more about myself and why I chose optometry as a career. As far as my personal life, I am married to Garrett, who farms, and we have 3 kids, and we also foster, so we're really busy. And then I'm also very involved in my community because I feel like as a whole, you always need to give back to people who supported you growing up. So that's very important to me. As far as optometry, if you're not familiar with that, that's an eye doctor. So on a typical day, we're fitting people with glasses or contacts to help them see better and to have that goal reached with their sight. But we also help preserve vision. So there's times that we're treating diabetes in the eye. And if we need to, we send them on to an ophthalmologist, but we're treating diseases, anything that can limit vision. Sometimes with it being windy West Texas, we're getting metal out of people's eyes or other things that blow in there just so they don't get an infection and they're not in pain. On a typical day, it's what it looks like. And then as far as schooling goes, I graduated from Nazareth and then I went on to WT for my undergrad, and that was 4 years. And then at the time when I started optometry school, there was only 2 in the state of Texas. So one in the state of Texas, now there's 2. So I went to the University of Houston, and that was another 4 years. And it was worth every bit of the 8 years because I love what I do. The best part about my job is knowing and meeting people and getting to know their story. Sometimes it's not just about an eyeball, it's about what's going on with their life. What does their daily activities look like? I always ask people, are you working on 1 computer screen or 2? Are you doing a lot of driving? Or are you doing a lot of indoors? So it's not just here's your prescription, see you later. We have to know the story behind the person. So I really enjoy getting to know and meet people. And another thing, as far as being a full-time mom and wife, I really enjoy the flexibility, the opportunity that optometry gives with that. Any advice that I would give you is make sure that if you know what you want to do, don't just limit yourself to that. Go ahead and pick 3 different things that you might like and go and shadow those. That's what I did. I went and worked with my uncle, who's a physical therapist here in town, and gave that a go for a summer to see if that was something maybe I wanted to do, because I've always wanted to do optometry since I was in 6th grade is when I wrote my first paper on it. So if I had any advice to give is just make sure that you look at all your options, because there's so many different fields out there, and that way you're not going through school and then you come to find out you don't like this particular career that you selected. So I think that's my best advice that I could give. So thank you so much for letting me share my story. And if you ever would want to come and shadow us at Webb Vision Center, we would love to have you. Thanks again.
What is your name and career?
My name is Austin Campbell and I'm a cotton farmer.
What education or training is required for your career?
So there's no formal education needed to become a farmer. Most of the skills you want to learn can be learned on the job training with other farmers in your area. However, I would highly recommend pursuing classes in economics, financial planning, and agronomy. They will help you very much along the way.
What do you enjoy most about your job?
The thing I enjoy most about my job is the personal freedom. I have a lot of leeway in what I do in my day-to-day operation, and I don't have to depend on somebody else to write me a check at the end of every week.
What is the most important thing to know about being a farmer?
The most important thing to know about being a farmer is that this isn't a 9-to-5 Monday through Friday job. Some parts of your job will require you to not only work every day and weekends, but sometimes holidays, and sometimes miss out on events with your family. You can have very long hours during your busiest parts of the year, and those things have to be taken care of.
Can you tell us what your typical workday looks like?
So during the summer, during my busiest part of the year, I get up early in the morning and I make my rounds checking all of my irrigation and checking all of the other crops at my other farms along the way. And I make a plan of the things that need to be done for the day. Those can include cultivation, spraying for chemicals or fertilizer, tending to livestock, and other general things on the farm. Usually at the end of the day before I go home, any livestock that we have is checked again, and I check irrigation equipment again before I go home to make sure that it's going to run throughout the night.
If you could give a future farmer one piece of advice, what would it be?
The biggest piece of advice that I can give to an aspiring farmer is to understand that you need a very good work ethic. Doing things halfway will never cut it. Farming can be a very tough job. I would also recommend that you pay attention to what the farmers in your area and across the country are doing. You can learn so many things by watching other people's successes and failures to make yourself more successful.
Hi, my name is Chance McMillan, and I'm the owner and operator of Sandlot Farms here in Hale County. We have just pulled off our 11th crop, and we've just started our 12th crop here in 2021.
What education or training is required for your position?
You know, education is different for a lot of different people that get into farming. Some have a granddad or a dad that they can help with on the farm to gain experience. Some go off to college, get a degree, and then come home and work the family farm. I wasn't fortunate enough to have a dad or granddad that was farming when growing up, so I went to college, and upon graduating from college, I went to work for the Agricultural Experiment Station here in Halfway, Texas for 2 years, and then worked for a couple different farmers the next couple years until we were fortunate enough to get our own land in 2010.
What do you enjoy most about your job?
You know, I love working with my hands. I love being outside. My favorite time of the year is harvest in the fall, because you get to see, you get to see the fruits of your labor throughout the whole year finally come to fruition, and you get to see what you reap, what you sow. I love being able to go here and there, be my own boss, be at every sporting event that my kids have, being able to coach their teams in Little League. I just love being able to go here and there and get to be my own boss.
What is the salary range for someone in your line of work?
You know, the salary range is like I said, it's different for everybody. The way you get into farming is very different, vastly different. You just need to know that you live off of borrowed money from the bank, from your institution, and you need to be very careful to not live outside your means because of that. Like I said, everybody's different. The way you can get into farming is different, but a lot of things. What's good about new and beginning farmers, that you go through the Farm Service Agency, which they will take you under their wing, and they have lots of good programs for new and beginning farmers to help you get started and set you up with an institution locally that does farm loans.
Can you tell us what a typical workday looks like for you?
So a typical work day in our operation is different. It depends on what time of the year you're in. In the wintertime, we're usually doing maintenance on equipment, tractors, preparing the ground for the upcoming year. Springtime, as you can tell, I just started this sprinkler behind me. We're watering winter wheat that we will harvest in June. Early summer, late spring, April, May, we're planting corn in April, cotton in May, and then throughout the summer we're just irrigating the crops through the entire summer all the way up until about September. And then October and November, December, you're harvesting the crop, cotton, corn, silage for the dairies, and then it just starts all over.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi y'all, I'm TJ Duffield and I'm a state trooper with the Texas Highway Patrol. To be a state trooper, you have to either go to college for at least 2 years or join the military and serve for 4 years. Prior to being a state trooper, I joined the U.S. Air Force, where I was a cargo airplane crew chief, and I flew all over the country. I did that for 6 years. If you want to join the Air Force, you can do that right after high school. And being in the military would help you join a department like mine where you have to have military service. Right now, I also serve in the New Mexico Air National Guard, where I'm also a cargo airplane crew chief, and I fly on airplanes and work on them. Being in the Air National Guard is a good alternative to being in full-time military, because you can work a job like mine, like being a state trooper, and you can also serve your country in the Air Force. I hope you all continue to stay in school and learn everything you can, and maybe my talk helped you make a good decision for your future. Thank you.
We're here with Officer Jackson from the Plainview ISD Police Department, and we are going to find out what his career is all about. So, Officer Jackson, to be a police officer with Plainview ISD, what kind of training do you need?
Well, the type of training that you will need is you have to go to the police academy, and you can find the police academies, pretty much anywhere. They range from 3 months to as long as, 11 months. And all you need is to just go to one of those academies, pass the state test. And once you pass the state test, you'll become a basic peace officer. And then once you have that license, you can, apply anywhere to become a police officer.
What campuses do you work at, and what kind of duties do you have during a normal day?
I have Coronado Middle School and Thunderbird Elementary. And what I do during the day is I do lunch duties, and then I just maintain the safety and security of the campus, perimeter checks, door checks, and then whatever they need me to help with, I'll help with.
And what made you decide to choose law enforcement as a career?
The reason why I chose law enforcement is because I wanted to make an impact in my community, as well as, you know, in the school district. And this is a good school district to work for. And just to, you know, be a role model for the young kids, be someone that they can look up to, you know, to come talk to whenever they're having a bad day, and just anything like that.
That's awesome. If a student chooses to go into law enforcement, what can they expect, like their starting pay or their salary range to be?
I think it's different, you know, everywhere, anywhere you want to go to. But I think the starting pay will be somewhere around $32,000 to $40,000. But based on your experience, you'll either be up there or start at the very bottom.
If you had to say your favorite thing about your job, what would you say your favorite thing is?
My favorite thing about the job is working in the school districts, seeing the smiles on the little kids' faces whenever they see a police officer. It's like they know you're there and they like for you to be there, and it puts a smile on my face.
Well, we appreciate you and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome to the Plainview ISD Elementary Virtual Career Fair. Would you please introduce yourself?
Yes, I am Katie Schaefer, and I am an insurance agent with Texas Farm Bureau.
Okay, Katie, what kind of education or training did you have in order to become an insurance agent?
So there are 2 licensing tests that I studied for, and I had to test for those. And once those were passed, I got my insurance license.
Okay. What do you enjoy most about your job?
I love helping people. I love getting to form those relationships with each individual and help fit whatever they might need.
Okay. Can you tell us, like, what would your typical work day look like?
Let's see, I wake up and I get there and have my coffee, of course, and then I go through and I see what types of policies, like homeowners or auto insurance policies, might need attention that day, like if someone might have forgotten to pay their bill, or if someone is needing new coverage, then I help them with that.
Okay, so for instance, you help others, like if somebody owns a home and it were to catch on fire, your company takes care of helping that family replace their items in their home. Is that one of the things that you do?
Yes, our company would pay them to help get back to normal.
Okay, so being an insurance agent, you have the opportunity to help a lot of individuals and a lot of families when crisis happens, when trouble happens.
Yes.
I bet that leaves you with a good feeling at the end of the day.
I love it.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about your position, Katie?
I don't think so. Just if anyone ever has any interest, just go for it.
All right. Thank you so much.
What is your name and position?
My name is Norma Galvan, and I'm a cosmetologist.
What education and training is required for your position?
Education, you have to do I had to do 1,500 hours of cosmetology, which includes bookwork, in classroom, and then the last 500 hours you do on the floor working on patrons, learning how to cut color. But now they've brought that down to 1,000 hours. So now it's not 15, it's 1,000. And then after you're done, you go and take your state board to get your license.
Okay, how long is it from beginning to end? How many years?
Usually when I did it was 1,500 hours, it's a year. But now that it's down to 1,000 hours, it's about 9 to 10 months.
What do you enjoy most about your job?
The people. I'm a people person. I love to talk, and so that brings me joy because it's something new. It's always something refreshing.
How much money does a cosmetologist make?
If I did yearly, it would run anywhere from the least, like being part-time, like 18,000 to being, super busy to about 38,000 a year, roughly.
Can you tell us what your typical work day looks like?
Coming in, sanitizing, getting my station prepped for whatever day I have. I'll look at my customers. If they're getting color highlights, I'll look up their color cards, make sure I have all the supplies. Of course, sanitizing. With COVID, we've taken that to an extra step of doing before and after each person. We usually always do that, but it's been just even more frequent now. But just preparation, really making sure I have all my supplies.
Are you your own boss?
I am, and I love it.
Good. Do you have anything that you can tell fifth graders in picking a job?
Do something you love. Do something that you know that you would get up and say, I'm ready to go to work. Because that's how I am. I love to come to work. Like I said, it's always something new. So just know in your heart that you will love your job when you go every single day.
Perfect. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kevin Sweeney. I'm a professor here at Wayland Baptist. I teach history and geography at the university. To be able to do that, you go to college and get your undergraduate degree, and you can actually get that in anything, but history is preferred. Then you get a master's, which is usually 2 more years of college on top of your undergraduate degree. I got my master's in education, so it wasn't even in history. And then you could go back and get your PhD, and that's usually another 4 to 5 years after your master's. And of course, I got that in history. What I teach are the U.S. surveys. I teach medieval history, which is awesome. I get to teach ancient Greece and Rome. I teach environmental history, the history of Texas. Working at a small university, you get to teach a lot of different classes, and I actually like that. I also teach geography, physical geography, human geography, world regional geography, because that's kind of an outside field of mine. As far as work conditions, it's really a job that you can do for a long time because it's not physically demanding, but what you have to do as a historian is you have to read a lot, and then you have to write up your lectures for class and create your PowerPoints, write up your tests, you do all your own grading. And we also serve on committees here at the university that talk about various needs that the university has. So it can be a job that may only take 30 hours a week, but if you really work hard at it, you could easily work 50 hours a week. Anyway, I also have the job at Wayland of certifying all our athletes, because before I became a professor, I was a coach, and they knew I had a love for sports and asked if I would work on making sure all our athletes were eligible before they played. And that's just an outside job I have on campus. As far as my love and hates, I guess what I dislike the most is having to grade a lot of papers, especially if a student is struggling, and then I have to give them a bad grade at the end of it. What I love about my job is I get to talk about history all day long. I get to read about history. I get paid to do this. Think of the thing you love more than anything else, and you get to talk about that all day, and you get paid for it. I also get to write a few articles, publish a book, that kind of thing on topics that I'm very interested in. So overall, a great job if you love history. Y'all have a good day.
Welcome to the Plainview ISD Elementary Counselor Virtual Job Fair. Today we have as a special guest.
Hello, Dr. H.T. Sanchez. I'm the superintendent for Plainview Independent School District.
Hey, Dr. Sanchez, would you tell us a little bit about your education and training that enabled you to take the position of superintendent at Plainview ISD?
Sure. So I began at Angelo State University and I worked for a bachelor's degree in English. My first opportunity was to teach English at Nimitz Junior High School in Odessa, Texas. I then went on to get a master's degree at Sul State University to become a principal. And then I finished up a doctorate at Texas A&M University in Commerce, and that put me in a position to where I almost knew enough to be ready to be a superintendent.
Okay, so what does a typical work day look like for you? What is the business of the school that you take care of for us?
You know, every day is different. Some days are really exciting because, like, we have our girls' basketball team going off, so
that's awesome.
We get to go to the high school and see the girls and cheer them on, and then go watch the game this evening. Other days are late days because our board meetings start at 6 o'clock in the evening, and sometimes we finish up around 8:30 or 9, so some days are a lot longer. But most days are opportunities to visit schools, to visit with principals, teachers, counselors, and others who support teachers and principals, and just make the kinds of decisions that we need to ensure that students have new computers, that they have new schools, that they have all of the resources they need to be successful. So it's a lot of working together. So my job, the best way to describe it is, it's like group work every day where everybody has an important part to play, and everybody has to rely and trust each other to do their part.
Okay. But what do you enjoy most about your job? What gives you the most pleasure?
I'll say the best day of every school year is graduation. When we get to hand out diplomas to all of our Plainview High School graduates, as they walk across the stage, they're a reflection of amazing elementary teachers, amazing middle school teachers, amazing high school teachers, as well as the principals and counselors and everybody else who helped them get to that point. So as each one walks across the stage, they are an individual success story, and that is the absolute best day of the year.
That is a great day. What advice would you give a young person that's starting out on their exploring their career options? What advice would you give them?
You know, some advice that was given to me is find something that you love doing, and you'll never work a day in your life because every day you're doing what you love. So my advice would be to students, really think about what you love and find a job that is closest to that. One of the things that I really love is working with people. I like working with large groups of people and solving problems, and that's what I get to do. And so I would encourage students, find what you love, and then find a job that gets you to do that every day.
Well, thank you, Dr. Sanchez, for being part of our virtual career fair. Thank you.
Thank you.
You ready, Sam?
Yeah.
We tell everybody what they can be when they grow up. They can be anything. You ready?
Yes.
Let's go.
You can be an A. You can be an architect. Sketch a building to kiss the sky. You can be a B. You can be a biochemist. Make medicine save lives. You can be a C. Computer or software developer with programs and systems and files. You can be a D. You can be a dentist. Cause everybody loves to smile. You can be an E. You can be an engineer. Solve problems of all kinds. Chemical, mechanical, electrical. Use the power of your mind. You can be an F. You can be a firefighter. Fight fires in red trucks. You can be a G. Gastroenterologist. Deal with problems in the gut. You can be an H. Hospital administrator. Hospitals need leaders. You can be an I. Intelligence officer. The FBI kind of people. You can be a J. You can be a judge. Help people who seek justice. You can be a K. Kindergarten teacher. Those kids are young and restless. You can be an L. You can be a lawyer. Fortnite. You can be an Indian, you can be a nurse, medical kid for the masses. You can be an optometrist for people that need eyeglasses. You can be a paramedic for medical emergencies. You can be a quantum physicist of particles and energy. You can be an R researcher, find cures for disease. You can be an S stockbroker. You get to work with money. You can be a T truck mechanic. Trucks are critical transportation. You can be a U university president, more the future of your nation. You can be a V video game designer or Xbox and PlayStation. You can be a W web developer. It's an online occupation. Now take that S. You can be your own market, impact on the world. And with that Y, you can be your own boss. Tell me boy and girl. And with that Z, Z is you strive. You can reach the sky if you try. Just don't be a Z. Just don't be a zombie. And let the world pass you by.
Way to go, Sam!